Okay, not too long ago I did a review of Uglies by Scott Westerfeld, and the dramatic conclusion to the end of that book led me to have high expectations for the second one. Okay, first off I want to say that this is not a full-on review of Pretties. This is just my impressions so far of the story and of the series so far. As I said in the beginning of this video, I was kind of laughing and I said I had high expectations for the second book. With the dramatic conclusion of that book, when Tally gave herself up and she was going to become pretty, and we were told that David was going to come rescue her and give her the pills. So I was thinking, oh, the next book's going to be really epic, it's going to be a lot of action and all that. And no, actually I do have to say that the books are starting to become predictable, and which is kind of not a good thing for a science fiction book or a dystopian book, to be too predictable. I can say I'm only about 2/3 through the book. I'm almost near the end of it, and I would have to say that I already know, like I can already tell by the way this book is going, that I know that the third book is going to start up with Tally becoming a special, and probably the fourth book, Tally's going to become an extra, and then it's just going to, well, if he hadn't stopped at book 4, would it have gone on to book Infinity, where Tally becomes God? It's just too much. When you're reading science fiction, you kind of want to, you know, have some cliffhangers, you know, like some questions still. You want the reader to question stuff. Don't want to give it up too easy, and Scott Westerfeld has done that with this book. It's just, he's made it so easy to figure out what's going on with the story, and it's kind of disappointing in that regards. I will probably continue on and finish out the series, just because I'm a completionist and I want to know what's going on with the rest of the series to see how he finalizes. So, and another way that this book series is becoming predictable is that the books are starting to become like themed. Like the events in the story of that one title themed book tend to revolve around that one class of people in this world that Westerfeld has created. And I make a conscious thought of pronouncing the author's last name correctly, because I notice everybody calls him Westerfield when there is no I in his last name. It's Westerfeld. So another thing, like I mentioned in my review of Uglies, the language, which I'm assuming because the author resides in 2 different countries, like he lives in the US and he resides in Australia too, part-time. No offense to you if you're an Aussie, but the slang is kind of annoying, like the telewa and the bubbly and pretty making and all. It gets really, really annoying, and it gives you the impression, because these people are obsessed with cosmetic surgery, and it just reminds me of like Valley Girls, like, oh my god, like, you know, and just really, really annoying nonsense. So it kind of makes the character not really somebody you want to, you know, you can't really feel for them because you're just so annoyed with them. So that's, I mean, I'm struggling to get through this book. I mean, I'm not reading it as quickly as I did the Uglies. So definitely the language in this book is very annoying, and yeah. Another thing is, like, when when I read the first book and the end of it, I was thinking that there was going to be more involvement with the Smokies, and there hasn't really been too much. You see one of the characters from the previous book show up in the beginning of this book, but it's not who you think it will be, and he's a lesser known character. He was like a minor character in Uglies. So that was kind of a big disappointment. And there's never any explanation as to why. Why is it this minor character showing up and not like David or, you know, some of the other main characters from the previous book? And it's never explained why. So that's all. I'm like I said, it's okay so far. I mean, I think it's one of those things like with YA fiction. It's where the series as a whole is good, and I think the first book is the strongest book, which usually holds the series together as a whole. And I think that's what works out for YA fiction. Is I tend to notice this. Not dissing YA fiction, but I'm just saying, like, in comparison to Hunger Games, like Hunger Games was the same way, you know, like the first book of the Hunger Games was really strong story. It got you hyped up. It got you, like, you know, wanting more. And then the second book was kind of okay, and then the third book was just kind of like written really fast and didn't, where they could have evolved the story a little more, and it just kind of ended abruptly. I have a feeling that that's how this series is going to end too. So that's all I'm going to say about this book for now. I mean, it's got its climax of the story, but it's okay. It's kind of dry, I guess I would say. I'm thinking about making some other videos. I'm thinking about doing a book tour at some point because, as you can see, my bookshelf behind me, it's about like 1 foot by 1 foot cubes that I put my books in, and there's like 2 whole shelves that are dedicated to a certain series I really like. So I may make a book tour about that and discuss that because I think it's a really great series that a lot of people don't read. Some people do read it, but with a whole new generation of readers that are starting to develop a love for science fiction, I really want to share it with the booktuber community because I think they are, as a classic, like the main book of this series is a classic, and I want to share that with you guys. Also, I want to recommend some other science fiction dystopian type books. And I won't go into full-on reviews of those. I'll just give you a brief, like, plot synopsis of each book and tell you why I think it's good. So those are some upcoming videos I'm going to do. So let me know what you thought of Pretties, and would you want to see this book tour? It's about the Dune series, by the way, if that'll help at all. And about some book recommendations, like if you guys would like to see that or not. Let me know. Like the video if you liked it, share it with your friends, comment, and if you have not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. That's all I got for you. Peace.